Maestro Moments. First, let's talk about the Dangote refinery, discussion very quickly. Uh, if you don't believe anything, you must first believe that there was slavery in this country. Now, the people who were engaged in slavery, and I'm not talking about our own domestic setting where we held and we had that culture. I'm talking about the moment that the foreigner, the invader from Europe came to West Africa and met slavery and also participated in that. The Portuguese taking a few slaves away to Portugal to perform their whatever experiment and then returning. And after returning, there was an upgrade. There was an upgrade from slavery to slave trade. I don't think there's any argument there. And then it was not because they didn't like slavery that they upgraded to slave trade, which we call the transatlantic slave trade. They upgraded because that is their own culture, to upgrade their systems. And so they upgraded from slavery to slave trade. And when they upgraded from slave trade to colonization, it's not really because they were tired or remorseful of slave trade. It's because, again, that is what their own system compels. That is what the Western system rests on. Today, you do your upgrades, you see upgrades from, iPhone, this to that, to the next one, to the next one. And when you have their weapon systems, you also have upgrades in the weapon systems, from generation to generation. You have upgrades in their aircraft carriers on the seas. That is their culture. So for some people to be believing that it was some kind of remorse which led to the abolition of slave trade and so on, it means we are not thinking deeply enough. The abolition of slave trade in any case led to large wholesale slavery, which is colonization, because now you didn't have to be taking the slaves piecemeal. Now you took whole countries. That's the meaning of colonization. So it was an upgrade again from colonization, from slave trade to colonization. And then we now had, the last upgrade from colonization to neo-colonization or economic colonization. So I ask myself, at what point did we begin to think that the people who had this kind of sequence stopped and now we became equals and we were going into globalization, we were going to all these fantastic ideas? In any case, right in the middle of all that, you see what's going on with the blacks in America. Right in the middle of all that, you see what's going on, what they even call American exceptionalism. It will be quite interesting to see at this point where Kamala Harris, who's labeled not white, will end, and maybe as American president. And then where does it break to? Does it branch out to the Obama kind of president, or what's it going to be? That's another matter entirely. So in this series, I'm trying to establish, a basis for a conversation that what are we looking at in this Dangote refinery scenario? Are you looking at that economic colonization in its glory, where regional powers like Nigeria must be pinned down and underdeveloped? Nigeria for the West Coast, Egypt for North Africa, South Africa, which is the giant in that zone, also being relegated systematically. What are you looking at? What do you think? let me receive your comments and so on. And maybe somewhere along the line we'll do live, on these things. See you again.